The way life goes, my sister, my bros, come together, let's go. On my aboriginals, be proud of who you are, no one can take that away. This is a message for the young and the old.
Hello, I'm Bart Willoughby, and very, very proud to be on podcast.
And my name is Tjimba Possum-Burns. I'm very proud to be alongside this man, Bart Willoughby, and on our podcast, our first episode right now. And
yeah, I like to introduce my oldest daughter, Yvonne. She's lives in Adelaide, and when she was young, she was learning how to be a dancer. She became a really, really, really good dancer, and yes, she looks like me, but a better version of me. So I'd like to pass you over to my daughter, who's
introduce Yvonne.
Yvonne. So, what's it like when you were dancing in the early days?
Okay, well, hello everyone. Because I, got taught traditional dancing first. That really it just helped me getting into teaching other people, or our society in a sense. So I never really got embarrassed or this shame job, I just used to be like, it's something that's really good and it's helping me and it's gonna hopefully help others to see something different in a sense. So, yeah.
And have someone, I know Uncle Bart's dad and everything, but, big superstar man over here, but to have people that have, like him, vision and create music the way he does, and I guess it's in your blood, like to share your knowledge and just being blackfella too from where we're from, because I know you're from Adelaide and I know what Adelaide's like, and Arnold Mob from in between Alice and Adelaide, we're all the same, we all connected in a lot of ways. And so it's so good to hear, because I think the next generation does sort of, you got a lot of young fellas out there that don't take in a lot of culture, especially from where we're from too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And we're actually not from Adelaide.
You're from South Australia, a bit outside of Adelaide.
Man, it's weird because where we're situated is my father is Ordeer. You might as well say on the border of West Australia.
West Australia.
Northern Territory and South Australia.
Oh, yep.
And then you got Eucla, which is on the border of South Australia and Western Australia. So we're sort of like stuck in the middle, or we were there before the borders turned up.
Yeah, that's right. We've got our own borders.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so it looks like that we were there before. And the weird thing is too is we're related to a lot of people, and I think Yvonne's starting to sense that. But other than that, I was I've never been a dancer, but watching your own daughter dance is really uplifting.
Well, you'd have a lot of dancers from home too, so a lot of those dancers, like you could name a few dancers that you.
Well, it's quite. I shouldn't say this, but it's not as live and kicking. It could be as much as like the top end mob.
Yeah.
Because we've got no dig, so everything looks sort of like it's happening, but it doesn't have the the didge that gives it its power and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it might seem like it's boring, but it's not. It's just that's the way the animal moved, I guess, before music popped up.
That's what I was going to say. So it'd be a lot of the animals moving and all that, eh, Yvonne?
Yeah.
And a lot of the dances from home that you sort of put...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, from that, I was able to join up with a lot of other local girls.
Yeah.
And then create other dance groups.
That's
so there
good.
was another one, like, a lot of fellas in Adelaide know it, Tjimba Mob.
Yeah.
And then another one I was a part of, it was me and these other girls, like all Aboriginal, so Ngarrindjeri girls, and we were called Shades of Brown.
Shades of Brown.
Yeah, and so I taught them the traditional stuff, and then one of the other sister girls, she did contemporary.
Oh, yeah,
And we were dancing to songs like TLC, No Scrubs,
and putting it all in together.
yeah, and Waterfall. So, that was sort of moving for us.
Yeah.
At a, and this is going back to the, early 90s.
Yeah.
So late 90s.
And it
in a
was
sense.
all going sort of like that, eh? Like it was infusing, a lot, because the young fellas were coming in and out of that. They were sort of bringing that
it was
contemporary...
like, back then there was like more of it.
Yeah.
But now it's sort of not so much,
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
not so much of these little Aboriginal dance groups, even doing contemporary or traditional together, or, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, it's always another generation will come along and you'll see another dance group, eh? But it's good.
Yeah.
It's always good to see young fellas dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we've always had Bangara there,
Bangara.
That's another one a lot of us, young fellas that are dancers look up to.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like a big inspiration for us. So, I used to go to a lot when I was younger. So I always just found it awesome, the whole thing to do with theatre, so putting it all together with then the music and, it's just awesome. So,
And then talking about contemporary too, the stuff that you've been doing even in the last couple of 5 years, Uncle Bart, for moving around with different musicians, and then I've seen you at a play that you did with Rest in Peace, Ngarrindjeri. And it was unbelievable, the one that we seen, and how you and Dad sort of put all the music together, and how you put that contemporary with culture. That was unbelievable. So. And it's good how you experiment like that too, because it gives me an insight of music and trying to experiment all the time.
Well, it's like music. It's like music's like almost like it's liquid form, flexible. In other words, and if you do your homework or that flexibleness. Allows you to play music with ease, which is I think what performance is all about, especially dancing. You got to dance like you're flowing. I can't do that, but musically I can.
Yeah.
So, and also. I heard along the grapevine that Yvonne went to Wilma, Adelaide, and did you perform?
And that's a festival in Adelaide as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that was like when I was a lot younger, so we had that opportunity to perform at Wilma, Adelaide, and it was awesome. Yeah,
Oh, that would have been brilliant.
Yeah,
and
it was cool.
And she ended up having a talk to what's that fella's name? Sledgehammer.
Oh,
Peter
Mr. Peter Gabriel.
Yeah.
I got to meet him. Yeah, that was cool.
That would have been dope. Eh?
And talked to him for a couple of hours, where
Yeah.
a lot of other people were trying to get his attention. He was just concentrating on. He just wanted to listen to what Yvonne had to say.
Imagine you walked off and he's like, "Don't give up."
No,
too deadly.
he would have went, go at it like a sledgehammer.
That's what I like about his energy. He's got that energy, doesn't he, Peter Gabriel? And he likes people. Eh? He's always all different walks of life. That fella.
Well, when you see him in the Genesis when they used to hang out together, you can see they all like each other.
Yeah, that's right.
But their techniques are different.
Totally different.
Like when you Phil Collins, he's coming from the drums, so everything is accents and bridges and stuff like that. Where Peter Gabriel, he's just following his voice,
Yeah.
and apparently he's a really good piano player. So I think when you got that much force in one band, it just got to explode. Not musically, but outward.
That energy.
Yeah, it's how they ended up becoming Genesis, but now 4 individual musicians.
Yeah.
Well, Yvonne, I wanted to ask you too. I'm always with Uncle Bart and Dad, and always around music, and always thinking of things because of these two.
Yeah.
How many different experiences have you been alongside with Dad, and how many things that you seen him accomplish that sort of made you proud? Those moments,
when he won his ARIA award, I got to see that.
Oh,
That
that's
was
unbelievable.
awesome.
That'd be awesome.
But he was away somewhere, so someone else had to just pick it up for him. But that's right.
Yeah,
so,
I can't remember. Oh, that's right. Will Smith. Will Smith was the one who
Gave you the art.
nominated me or whatever.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
oh, that's cool.
And so, yeah, that was pretty cool. I think what was happening back then was I was slowly becoming an individual, which means that I'm controlling everything from you might as well say from the bed, and
From the bed to the kitchen.
to the kitchen, but it's also teaching you how it all works, and so I think yeah. In other words, I wasn't vulnerable. If I was a gunslinger, I'd sort of almost have no weaknesses. But anyway, I didn't want to poison the purity of the imagination.
Oh, that's why I love about you too, Uncle, is that you're real, and just to hear a story like that, like everyone's proud of you. You weren't there to pick up the art, because that's the person that you are. You move around a lot.
Yeah.
You're always doing things. You're a visionary.
Yeah.
In my experience, you've always thought of things outside the box and put it together.
Well, I worked it out between just me and your father. We about 7% of Australian music. Yeah. That's a lot. Very few people even have a percentage. They sound like other people, which means they'll never become soulful. An individual that's soulful. They just become a product that keeps bringing out music for some strange reason. I love playing music because, I'm a bit like a puppetry. I'm controlling
Controlling everything.
the movement.
The movement, yeah.
And how it goes. And the reason why I'm doing that, because I'm teaching myself how to, what the surfers would call, catch a curve.
Catch a curve.
Catch a curve is when you go into a tunnel
Mm-hmm.
and you slide right through and come out the other end. Yeah? And in the music term, if you do that, then you got a beginning, you got a middle, and then you come out the end. That's your song.
Yep, I see what you're saying.
And it only lasts for, if it's a real good one, maybe less than 20 minutes, 10 minutes. Some cases, it's just a thought.
Yep.
Yeah. Which means that your mind worked out all the song in maybe a 10-minute walk. Because everything's in its right place. Like your drum set, your imagine drum, your bass, your guitar, and your keyboards, and your walking creates the beat, which allows you to imagine how the song goes, and for the words, you just let them flow, and if you love it that much, you would have finished the song off before you finished walking.
Yeah. So, any proud moments, Yvonne, besides, of course, White Madeleine? That'll be unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few others that along the way too, because I've had some good moments on stage with Unc.
Yeah, definitely. When Dad had mixed relations, got to be in one of the film clips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to stand in Redfern.
Yeah, that's
It was
right.
only like a little bit, but I didn't care as long as, I got to
she
be
was
there.
young.
And yeah, I was
It's a
only
good
in like
feeling.
year 6, so
That's a
it was
good
cool.
feeling when you're that age, and you got a camera in your face, and your dad's this,
Yeah.
this person that everybody loves.
Yeah, I sort of let the kids make up their mind what they want to become. I'm there for them if they want to learn. But most of the time, I think they just want to figure out what life is and experience like any other kids with their beautiful imagination. And so, we amended in, I think, the whole structure of music, dance, and culture. The reason why I say culture is because we're genetically connected to it. Mm-hmm. My father
That's right.
is a full blood. My mother's a full blood, and that gives me the right to not dream, but to be part of the dream. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a good thought too. To have, like, Dad says the same thing. You don't have to be a musician like us. To all these kids as well, it says you can become whatever you want. You don't have to follow what Dad does.
Yeah. Just don't get into drugs.
Get it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's right. You got to teach your kids along the way.
No drinking, no drugs, no
Yeah.
girls, which is really hard for kids, especially when their hormones are going berserk.
When I started rapping, I think that was my whole persona there.
Well,
exactly what you just said. Look.
That's a good way of getting rid of frustration.
That's true.
And,
it's like when you start out young. I can imagine you too. You got that. You feel like you're a rock star. You can do anything you want to.
Yeah, that sort of dies down, and then you start to actually perform to the people.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I think, have we been waiting for this as Australian audience for a long time? Yeah, because we want to see how dangerous we can become. Mm-hmm. And so when you had the earlier geniuses like Brian Caird and Max Meteorite, and the list just keeps going on. The reason why I say them, because they were the first bunch of Australian musicians that found a way to create the music. In other words, when they were going over to America and hanging out with the blues fellas and that's actually the road. And that's the road that they created for us.
Yeah.
And so, and we've got really, really amazing fellas who have a lot of depth in their blues. Diesel is really has a lot of depth.
That's the mix in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got the folk, we've got blues,
Yeah.
we've got all that connection.
Well, yeah, we've got everything. We even got the highest, classical and jazz at its highest. But I think that's pretty well everywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's weird too, because African rhythm, South American rhythm, and Pacific rhythm, what makes them all separate and different? Location. Basically, the heart and the way that they play it.
That's right, and there's
It's the
their
same.
history, and then they have because you're right, because it's sort of moulding in a lot of, because I do a lot of hip hop and to see different producers doing all this sort of music, and we're based in Australia to have folk, to have especially acoustic guitar. You can always have an acoustic guitar on some songs.
And also rhythm.
Rhythm is the main thing, eh?
Yeah. The reason why I say South America, Africa and Australia, Pacific, is because we've been playing music
For thousands of
for
years.
thousands of years. That's right.
Thousands of years.
And have they met? No.
No.
But why is it location makes it all different?
That's right, yeah.
Well, that's how it works. You're on a planet that's circle, and you're not on a straight line where you can see everybody as far as you can see.
That's funny you say that. Eh?
And they popping up. You might as well say in the same spot, on the same dot.
Yeah, in timing, true. Yeah. Well, that's it. And at the end of the day, it's all timing, isn't it?
Yeah.
When we connect with music, it's all timing.
It's all time like that.
Yeah, and that's the same
Sun-
with dance.
Same
it's
as dance.
Timing.
It's all timing.
Yeah.
Sun spinning around, Michael Jackson spins around. It's great to watch.
You're probably still spinning around though.
Yeah, he's still spinning.
Rest in peace,
Oh
man.
no!
What a legend.
He'll be going. He'll be going. He'll be going. How do you explain this to the living?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I've never seen what I'm seeing now.
Yeah. Yep.
And so if that area that everybody goes to is and has always been there, that means that the trip hasn't finished yet.
Yeah.
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 So it's really, really weird. We're coming to a point where we're starting to see that there's something more than just a story that has a beginning, middle, and an end. See, that's where our trap is. We don't even have a clue on what affinity is. Oh, we see it, but we haven't got a clue. So have we? Are we the most extraordinary entity that's ever been created in this universe? Yeah.
I think you said before how we all connect, spiritually, and how much do we have connections through this. I mean, how long have we been looking to the stars?
Isn't
To the stars for us, like we've got a connection.
Yeah.
isn't spiritual death?
And I
Like
think spirituality
like
is
you-
all about that. Yeah.
your flesh here,
Yeah.
and then when you die, you're over there, but you're still here.
Oh, you're up there. Oh, you're up there. In sense.
It's like space is exactly what it is. There are no rules. So
And that'll be with the dancing too, eh? Like, Yvonne, how long dancing goes back to.
Yeah.
it's the beginning. Yeah,
It's like the beginning.
And I love even like with our own, they're all different. they're not all the same, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like even with the Ngarrindjeri mob there in Adelaide, you know, they're a whole nother type
mob.
of the way they dance.
Yep.
Then you got other mob in the desert, you know, so then you go right up the top, then you got Queensland mob.
Yeah,
whole
that's
nother,
right.
And then you got WA mob, whole another mob. So, I mean, it's just beautiful in itself, you know. So
And connection too. I think that connection through country
yeah,
Country.
and all that too.
Yeah. The technique of traditional singing is the same technique that the Western world teaches their opera singer how to sing. So, in other words, what I'm saying is the technique of opera singing actually comes from the bush. Yeah? Like people go, what do you mean? Well, there'll be a black fella out in the bush singing, and he has to fill up the whole area, and he's not allowed to leave till he learns how to fill up that whole area with his voice. So if an individual goes out there and sings, it will just the noise will disappear within a couple of seconds after leaving his mouth. Yeah. And so, how do you fill up a whole area when you can't even fill up a little area? Yeah. So then I think then something happens, and then it starts to starts to shine or buzz or fling. And then them people, wherever they sing, it's just power. So
That's true. I mean, you've got that.
well,
You've got that.
well, how would I put it? I've been writing for a long time. I just know where all the good bits are now. So I ain't got time to. When I was young, I used to muck around with tunes for hours and hours, and then at the end of it, I just chuck it away.
And that's what I was going to ask you is what made you drive yourself into getting into even writing or putting music down, or even writing music, because you've wrote the most unbelievable music and music that have actually touched people.
Yeah, it's
out there.
people say like Jimi Hendrix. I think Jimi Hendrix met music as a living entity when he was a kid.
I think you're one of those guys, eh? You.
Yeah, well, I was, like I was in home, so there was no love. And so when I got into music, for me to fall in love with it, it has to have an aura like a human being. And once that happened, and I fell in love with it, it's always been the same. So did I like Jimi Hendrix meet music as a living entity? Yeah, because you can't fall in love with nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
and even doing We Have Survived.
Well, that's
a powerful song.
That's a powerful song.
well, it's
Right, Dad, in that it gave a lot of, empowerment.
well, when you're in the front line and you're learning how to dodge.
And that's right, you were in the front line.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Not only we're learning how to dodge bullets, we're writing songs at the same time. What did that do to me? Well, it taught me how to start to teach myself how to tell the truth. Yeah. Because a lot of people.
Well, truth can hurt a lot of people too, which I think at
Well,
the time, like
yeah.
you had a song that
If you chaotically know it,
Yeah, that's right. Like if you know it at a point where, oh shit, I can't say nothing back to this, or I can't object to what he's doing because he's going to reach an audience out there that's going to, like We Have Survived. That's a song that really hit a lot of communities out there, whether you're white or black.
Yeah.
What I know is I was checking out all these other songwriters, and I knew from their first songs that they got it wrong. And you go, oh, right. Did I get it right? Yeah, because I didn't know what was right and wrong. So I just loved what I was doing.
At the time, and you were only how old?
17.
17 at the time. Well, you know, it just still gives me chills, that song, you know, because I listen to all your music, Unc, and it's like you can feel your hurt, but then when you hear a song like Aboriginal Woman and you start to see an empowerment for women, even like they're talking about that stuff today, you know, they're talking about that stuff. Women have been talking about that for a long time, but that's a song that really empowers women, and I don't know how many black sisters I know from Echuca to everywhere I go to say,
that's weird.
That song.
Yeah, that's a deadly one.
That's weird because I used to live in Redfern, 1990, and I went back there, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and some of the black fellas just turned around and went, "You were right," and you go, "How many years is that now?" Like, it's 30-something years.
30 years.
And you go, wow, they just got it then?
Yeah. Oh, look out.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, I'm just really, really, really proud that my daughter is our first guest on podcast.
Our first
Yeah,
episode.
and thanks for having me.
Yep.
For
I
sure.
can actually say now, my guest is better than your guest.
Yeah.
No, too deadly, sis. And thank you so much for being here too. And I just want to acknowledge the land that we're standing on, and acknowledge who we are as people, and acknowledge this man right here that I'm sitting next to.
And our friend who helped us get all this.
Put our podcast together. And
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And plenty more to come.
Plenty more. Anyway, we're signing off, and thank you, my beautiful daughter. And
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
I'm very proud to be a father, and there's no way you can get rid of me. Love you.
Yeah.
See you later.
See ya.
See you later.